I found my diary, but the person writing in it wants me dead. True horror story. What if you discovered a diary that knows your future because someone else is writing it? Someone who lives in your shadow. Someone who hates you more than anything. This isn't fiction. It's the true horror story of a man who found a journal containing every moment of his life before it happened. Every mistake, every fear, every death threat, and the final page has his murder planned by himself. Stay until the end and subscribe to my channel for more horror stories. The person who knows me too well. Evan Dawson always believed that life was simple, predictable. He woke up every day in the same small apartment, went to the same quiet job at a used bookstore, and ended each night alone with his thoughts. Nothing exciting, nothing thrilling, but also nothing terrifying. He preferred life that way. But predictable things break the hardest when they shatter. It all began on a rainy Thursday evening. Evan arrived home soaked to the bone, tossed his jacket aside, and noticed something strange on his bed, a leather-bound journal. The cover scratched like it had been dragged through gravel. He frowned. He didn't own a journal. There was no mail packaging, no note, nothing to explain how it had gotten inside his locked apartment. Curiosity and unease churned together as he sat on the edge of the mattress. He opened the front cover. There, written in neat dark ink, property of Evan Dawson. Do not ignore the warnings. He blinked, confused. The handwriting looked familiar. Too familiar. Like his own. A nervous laugh escaped him. Someone's messing with me, he muttered. But who? He barely knew anyone outside work. He turned the page. You're late for work today. Susan will yell. You'll pretend to care. You always do. Stop pretending. I hate when you pretend. Evan froze. Today was June 9th. He had been late. Susan had yelled. He skimmed forward. You're going home in the rain. You'll find this diary. You'll think you're losing your mind. You're not. I just know you better than you know yourself. Cold washed over him like ice water. This wasn't a prank. Whoever wrote it predicted today exactly. His pulse quickened, breath catching in his chest. He flipped forward again, faster, panicked. June 11th. You won't go to work. You'll say you're sick. You'll be lying. You always lie. You don't deserve this life. You never did. He slammed the diary shut. This was impossible. He stood abruptly, pacing the room. Heart pounding. Skin prickling with fear that crawled into his bones. Someone is watching me, he whispered. But his apartment was silent. Still, lonely as always. He forced himself to breathe, shove the journal into a drawer, and convince himself to forget it. Sleep would reset his mind. But sleep didn't come easy. Every shadow stretched too long. Every creak in the building suddenly felt like footsteps. Every breath felt like someone else's breath behind his shoulder. At some point, exhaustion pulled him under. Morning light crept through the blinds. Evan awoke groggy, head heavy, stomach tight with dread. He didn't want to open the drawer. Didn't want to see if the diary had another entry. But part of him already knew it did. His hand trembled as he slid the drawer open. The journal lay there calmly. He opened it. June 11th. Good morning. I told you that you wouldn't go to work. But you don't listen. You never listen. You're afraid to admit it's true. Someone else is here. Someone better. June 12th. You'll break a glass today at 10:42 a.m. It'll cut your palm. You deserve that little pain. Evan stared. He checked the time. 10:41 a.m. His throat tightened. He backed away from the journal as if it were alive. 10:42 a.m. His elbow bumped a glass on the counter. It toppled. Shattered. A shard sliced his palm open. Blood dripped onto the tile. His vision blurred. No, he gasped. This can't. This can't be real. But the blood was real. The cut was real. The diary was real. He wrapped his hand in a towel, shaking uncontrollably. Tears pricked his eyes. Who was writing in that notebook? And how did they know everything? He called the police, but what could he even say? Hi, someone delivered a magical fortune-telling journal that hates me? They'd lock him in a padded room. So instead, he barricaded the diary. He locked it in a metal box. He shoved that box into his closet. He piled heavy suitcases over it. Then he left the apartment entirely. He needed people, noise, reality. But reality was no escape. Outside, strangers stared too long. Their eyes lingered, following him. Were they watching for someone else? That night, trapped again in his apartment, he heard something. Scratching. Slow. Methodical. From the closet. Evan crept toward it, breath quivering. The scratch turned into knocking. 1, 2, 3. Like knuckles on wood. Stop, he whispered. Even he didn't recognize his voice. Then a voice answered, not aloud, but in his mind. You can't shut me away. You can't hide from yourself. His chest seized with fear. He dug through the closet, dragging the box out with shaking hands. The metal was warm, like something alive was inside it. Heart racing, he unlocked the box. The diary was open. Evan's blood ran cold. June 3rd. You tried to run from me. As usual. Pathetic. Tomorrow night, you will finally see the truth. I'm coming home. And I'm done sharing this life with you. He stumbled back, knees buckling. Tears streamed down his face. He was being hunted by himself. Or by someone in his skin. He slammed the journal shut and threw it across the room. His phone buzzed. A text. From an unknown number. It was a photo. Of him. Sleeping. Tonight. The caption underneath chilled his soul. We look better without you. Evan dropped the phone, hands trembling so violently it clattered against the floor. The diary wrote his future. But the person writing wasn't human. And they weren't done. Evan didn't sleep that night. Every sound, the hum of the refrigerator, the settling creak of wooden beams, traffic far below, twisted into threats. His eyes stayed glued to the phone lying face down on the floor. He was afraid to turn it over again. Afraid the next photo would show something worse. Him being attacked. Him being dead. Or worse. Him smiling next to someone who looked exactly like him. He paced the apartment, blood still seeping from the cut on his palm. He wrapped it again, tighter, but it pulsed, a constant reminder of the diary's control. He whispered to himself, it's not real. None of it's real. But the more he repeated it, the less he believed it. Finally, he forced himself to turn the phone over. No new messages. He let out a shaky breath. Minutes crawled by. He reached for the diary on the floor, terrified but needing to know. He opened to the next page. June 14th. Lock the door. It won't help, but it'll make you feel better. Go on. Pretend you're safe. His breath hitched. He glanced toward the door. Unlocked. He locked it. The diary responded instantly. Good boy. Now look in the mirror. See if you notice what's missing. Evan's throat tightened. He turned slowly toward the mirror near the entryway. His reflection stared back, pale, wide-eyed, terrified. Normal. His ring finger. There was a faint indent where a ring should have been. A ring he had never worn. He squinted closer. There was a name engraved into his skin like a faded scar. That tiny fragment of a name made his heart stop. He checked the diary. You forgot her again. How convenient. Forgot who? He whispered. The lights flickered. A cold draft slid beneath the door, brushing past his ankles like fingers. Suddenly, a violent knock slammed the door. Then another. And another. Evan jumped back, chest squeezing. The knocking continued, frantic, aggressive, furious. "Who's there?" he shouted, voice cracking. Silence. Then a whisper through the door. A voice identical to his. "Let me in. I live here too." His entire body locked with terror. "No," Evan whispered. "You're not me." The voice laughed. The same laugh Evan had heard in his own throat for years, except colder, crueler. "You really think I wasn't always here? You're the extra. I'm the original." Evan staggered backward, clutching the diary like a shield. The door handle twitched. Turned. The deadbolt strained, metal grinding as something on the other side pulled, and pulled, and pulled harder. Evan scrambled to grab a chair, jamming it under the knob. The handle jerked once more. Then everything stopped. Dead silence. He waited, listening, barely breathing. A message notification chimed on his phone. Against every instinct screaming inside him, he checked it. The text from that same unknown number. "Why are you locking me out when I'm already inside?" The air behind him shifted, warm breath crawling across his neck. Evan spun around, nothing there. But the closet door was open a crack. He had closed it. He was sure. The diary lay open now, though he hadn't touched it. The next entry waited. "You loved her so much, Evan. That's why you killed her. Do you really not remember?" His vision swam. He dropped to his knees, forcing air into his lungs. Killed someone? Impossible. He'd never even been in a relationship, right? He turned the page. A photo was taped there. A girl with dark hair and green eyes. Laughing. Holding his hand. Wearing a ring matching the indent on his skin. His heart lurched violently. He knew her. Fragmented memories surged. Smiles, kisses, arguments, screaming, glass breaking. Then a flash. Her lifeless body. His hands covered in blood. He shoved the diary away like it was on fire, scrambling backward until he hit the wall. "No," he gasped. "You're lying." The walls felt too close. The air too thin. His reflection in the mirror was watching him. Not mimicking. Watching. The reflection tilted its head, but Evan didn't move. He stared, frozen, as his reflection's mouth curled into a hateful smirk. It raised its hand and dragged a finger slowly across its throat. Then the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the room whole. Evan's scream died in his throat. His phone glowed again, vibrating in his shaking hand. "Stop trying to be me." A photo loaded. The same mirror. The same room. Evan was hanging behind his reflection. His body dropped the phone. His heart hammered so violently it hurt. If I leave he can't follow," he whispered, lying to himself. He slowly backed toward the window. 4th floor. If he jumped, he might survive. The diary flipped open by itself. Pages ripped violently as if wind tore through them. Paper flapping like frantic wings. A fresh entry wrote itself, the pen moving without a hand. June 15th. You jump. You break. I walk away. Finally free. That was tomorrow. Tomorrow he dies. Unless he ran now. He lunged for the door. Yanked the chair aside. Flung the bolt open. He sprinted into the hallway. But standing at the far end was him. Same face. Same clothes. Same cut on the palm. Except the other Evan was smiling. Confident. Alive. Evan stumbled backward. "Stay away." The other him stepped closer, calm, purposeful footsteps echoing down the hall. "You are the mistake," the double said. "I'm what's left when the broken parts are removed." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a ring. The matching ring. "Isabella died because of you. Now it's your turn." Evan bolted back into his apartment and slammed the door shut. He was trapped. Surrounded by darkness. By memories he never wanted. by a version of himself that wanted him gone. He grabbed the diary, the only thing that seemed to hold answers, and whispered, "What do you want from me?" The next words burned through the page like fire. "I want my life back. And I'm taking yours tonight." The clock on the wall ticked louder. Tick, tick. A final knock at the door. So patient. Time to switch places. Evan's breath hitched. The doorknob turned. He backed away, holding the diary to his chest like a lifeline. It didn't matter, because the shadow under the door wasn't human. It was his. And it was stepping inside that Evan's last thought before the shadow crossed the threshold was simple. What if I was never real at all? Now the thing wearing his face is out there, living his life, smiling with his lips. And Evan? He's trapped inside the pages of a diary only you can read. The next time you find a notebook with your handwriting already inside, ask yourself, who wrote it first, you or the monster pretending to be you?